All right, so we are going to be starting our, essentially our angles and our transformation units. Now, parallel lines, transversals should all be reviewed from 7th grade for you guys. Angles should be reviewed from all the way from elementary school. So this is not necessarily something that is new as much as it's just going to be refreshing our memories. So it says in the picture below, lines X and Y are what kind of lines? So X is the top line, Y is the second line. What kind of lines do they make? Anybody?
Parallel.
They make parallel lines. And we know parallel lines do not what?
Intersect.
They do not intersect. All right, and line T, which I'm going to simply use a different color that stands out just a little bit. Line T is a what type of line or a line that intersects the two? You guys remember what it's called? I'll give you a hint. It's at the top of the page.
Transversal.
Transversal. And this is a line that intersects the parallel lines. Now, we are not going to get protractors out, and all of that is not that serious, to be really honest with you. This is just kind of refreshing our minds on parallel lines and transversal lines. So what do you notice about the angles? So what do you notice about A and B and C and D and E and F, G and H? So someone tell me something you notice about two angles up there. Someone other than Ariana. Okay, someone tell me something you notice about angle A. This is angle A right here. So what do we notice about angle A? Do you see anything that is congruent? Do you see anything that is not congruent? Y'all, you've been through almost an entire day of school. This is third period technically. I understand you were off for 3 weeks. I don't care.
Do you know what this B is?
No. So, angle A, is it an obtuse angle or is it an acute angle? Oh my God, what does the word obtuse mean? What does it mean? Raise your hand. What does obtuse mean?
Wider than 90 degrees.
Yes. So, angle A is obtuse. Bigger than 90. So then an angle that is smaller than 90 is what? Acute. So which angle is an acute angle? So if angle A is an obtuse angle, what angle could be an acute angle? Kira? Okay. So angle B is acute. Yes. Yes. Okay. Here. All right. So angle B is smaller, or is an acute angle, which means it's smaller. Tell me something that you notice about angle A and angle D. So this one and this one. What do you notice about those two? Ben? They're the same. Right. They're opposite angles, essentially. Or there's another word that we use. Do you guys remember? No? Nobody remembers? No? All right. What about angle A and angle E? What do we notice about those two angles? Ariana? What's another word that means same? Or equal to? Starts with a C. Yes, they're congruent. You're going to hear that word a lot today. Let's talk about supplementary angles. Okay, what's a supplementary angle? Anybody? Nobody? Delta math is gonna suck for y'all this week. It means two angles equal 180 degrees. So angle A and B are supplementary angles because they equal, if we added those two together, they equal 180. What do we know about congruent angles? What do we know about congruent angles? What do we know the word congruent means? Brielle? Same. So then what are congruent angles? All right, so we're going to talk about some vocabulary since we clearly don't remember a whole lot of anything. All right, so slide down here. We have lots of different types of angles, and we're just going to simply write the definition, give an example of them, and then write if they're congruent or if they're supplementary. So corresponding angles are angles in the same relative position, so angles that have matching corners. And then an example of this, I really wish this would focus. An example of this would be angle A and angle E. So everybody locate angle A and angle E on their paper. So these are corresponding angles. So angle A here and angle E here are corresponding angles, which means they have the same matching corner. Okay, so are they congruent? Angle A and E. So this angle and this angle, or are they supplementary? If we added them together, would they equal 180? What do you guys think? Jeffrey? They are congruent. All right, so someone else, looking at our figure, give me two other angles that are corresponding angles. Nevaeh. You said D and H, perfect. So angle D and angle H. And both of those are congruent. All right, the next one is vertical angles. All right, and this is pairs of opposite angles formed by intersecting lines. And an example of this would be angle A and angle D. Okay, so let's find angle A and find angle D. What do you notice about them? Are they congruent? So are they the same? Or if we added A and D together, would it give us 180? They're what? Are they obtuse? Are they both obtuse, both acute, or one obtuse, one acute? So then there's no way that it's going to equal 180, right? So, and remember guys, for supplementary angles, you have to have one obtuse angle, one acute angle. All right, so these two are actually congruent angles as well. All right, so someone raise your hand and give me another set of vertical angles. So two angles that are the same. Sebastian. G and C. No, they have to be vertical. So they have to be like opposite sides, essentially. So like G and C are the same angle, but they're not vertical angles. See how A and D were here? So you can use G and F because it's vertical. Does that make sense? Okay. So G and angle F. All right, any of this coming back to you or not? Not at all. You did this, I promise you. All right, linear pair. So a linear pair is adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines that add up to what? What do you think they add up to? Miss Bernetsky, did you teach angles last year?
Yeah. The parallel lines with the transversal.
Oh, you mean this?
Yeah, that was last year.
Oh, just making sure because.
You also have angles in 7th grade.
Oh.
Not those angles, but just one of those.
Just want to make sure because they're looking at me like I'm speaking the craziest language ever.
How is that in different schools, to be fair?
Bro, you still taught.
I was in Louisiana.
Okay, but were you still in 7th grade? Or did you skip a grade?
No, I was in 6th.
You were in 6th grade? And you skipped a grade and went to 8th grade?
Yes.
Jesus, take me real. Lord. All right, anyways. So, if they're adjacent, that means that they are right next to each other. So, they're right next to each other. What does the total have to be? What does the total have to be? So, a straight line from here to here, if you have a straight line, the degree that it equals is what? 180. Okay? If you have an entire circle, 360. So I'm asking, or I'm saying, an adjacent angle is angle A and angle B because they have to equal what? 180. All right, so an example of adjacent angles would be angle A and angle B. What is, that is the worst 180 I've ever seen in my life. So are these two congruent? Are they going to be the same? Angle A and B? No, they're not the same on ours because of the way it's cut. So then they have to be, if they're not congruent angles, they have to be what? Supplementary angles. All right, so someone else give me another example of linear pair. Cam, give me another example of linear pair. You said G? I just didn't hear you. Yep. So angle G and angle H. All right. So alternate interior angles. So on our chart, graph thing, whatever you want to picture, you're talking about, this is interior. Why is that interior? Why is the middle the interior? I mean, again, I'm not asking you rocket science. I'm just why is it interior? Right, it's inside. Okay, so we're looking for alternate interior angles on this one. So these are angles inside the parallel lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. And an example of this is angle C and angle E. No, sorry, angle F. So C and F are alternate interior angles. So they're the opposite essentially on the inside. Are they congruent or are they supplementary? So angle C and angle F, are they the same or are they different? What do you guys think? Same or different? Same. So they are congruent. All right, so if the angles on the inside are interior, what are the angles on the outside called? Exterior. So I don't really have much room, but this is exterior. And these are angles outside the parallel lines and opposite sides of the transversal. This would be angle A and angle H. Sorry, you can't see that. So angle A and angle H. So are these congruent? Angle A and angle H, or are they supplementary? What'd you say? What? What? Like what makes them congruent? They what? They're in the same spot? Okay, so like what is a characteristic of both A and H that tells you that they're going to be the same? Yep. All right. Now, obviously, if we actually had measurements on it, it would be a little bit easier, but that is one of the reasons. All right. So same side interior angles. So these are angles inside the parallel line and on the same side of the transversal. And an example of this would be angle C and angle E. So looking at angle C and angle E, are they congruent or are they supplementary? What do you think? Who said it? What? So angle C and angle E, they're different.
Yeah.
So one is what and one is the other. Right. Okay. And then same side exterior would be angles outside the parallel lines and on the same side of the transversal. And an example of this would be angle A and angle G. So are angle A and G congruent or supplementary? Look at them, be careful. Angle A and angle G, are they congruent or supplementary? Why? Say it a little bit louder.
Because angle A is obtuse and angle G is acute.
Yes. All right. So going up here, it says, use what you know about parallel lines and transversals to label each of the missing angles measured in the picture below. So it gives you that this angle right here is 75. What did we learn earlier about this whole line? It's got to equal what? 180. So how do we figure out what this angle equals? What do we need to do? So, okay, which is going to give us what? So everybody on your page right now, do 180 minus 75, and then stand up when you have your answer. Oh, thanks for waking up and joining the class. Huh? Bet, what did you come up with? 105. All right, so 75 is on the left, 105 is on the right. Did you just break my chair? All right, what do we know about this angle then? Raise your hand. What do we know about this angle? What is it going to be? Jeffrey? Okay, it's going to be supplementary to what? 75. So if it's going to be supplementary to 75, we know it's going to be what? 105. We also know that they're what? They're both obtuse. Okay? I mean, yes, these are all things that will help us figure that out. So then if that is 105, what do we know about this angle right here? 75. What do we know about this angle right here? Sorry, the angle that's going to go there. Careful with this one. The angle that goes here. These are interior what? Look at all the vocabulary we just did. So they're inside. So they're either alternate interior angles or same side interior angles. So which one are they?
Same side.
This side and that side are not the same side, right? So then they're alternate. So this is going to be 75. That's going to be 75. All right. What do we know about if those are alternate interior angles? We know these two are alternate interior angles. Mm-hmm. So you should kind of see a pattern. The angles that are essentially like opposite of each other are going to be the same. So this one and this one are going to be the same. That one and that one are going to be the same. Those are opposite. Those are opposite, opposite, opposite. So it says, notice that when parallel lines are crossed by a transversal, any pair of angles formed will either be this or this. I'll give you a hint. We wrote it on all of those over here. All right, you and your group members are doing questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to give you about 7 minutes to get this done. It should not take you that long. If you need help, ask your neighbor. No, work with your table to complete 1 through 4, essentially. You guys are allowed to talk now. You guys have to use vocabulary from the left side when you're answering your questions, by the way. you done? When you're finished, you can. When you finish, you can.
We're supposed to work together.
So how do you get it for the first one? Because so for 7,
Stand up when you're finished. All right, let's go ahead and go over this. All right, so it says line R is parallel to line S. The measure of angle 2 is 55 degrees. So you know that the measure of angle 1 is 125 degrees. So it says find the measure of angle 3. Your angle 3 should be 55. And your reasoning should be that it's a vertical angle to angle 2 and it's congruent. So if you don't have words like vertical angle or congruent, you need to add those words in. You have to get used to using these words. Number 2, it says find the measure of angle 7. So angle 7 is 55, and the reason we know this is because angle 2 and 7 are alternate exterior angles, and they're congruent. So again, if you're not using this vocabulary, I need you to add it on your page now. For 3 and 4, it says line J is parallel to line K, and then it says the measure of angle 5 is 102 degrees. Your question is find the measure of angle 4. We know that angle 4 is 102 degrees because angle 4 and 5 are alternate interior angles, which means they are congruent. And then number 4, it says find the measure of angle 1. How do you know? Angle 1 is 102 degrees. It corresponds to angle 5 and is congruent. Once you have this in, please go ahead and glue this into your notebook. The piece of paper that I just passed out to you guys, this is your homework. So you need to make sure that you get this done. It is due tomorrow. Huh? Okay. The other thing, my students are about to come back in about 5 minutes. I do have to start teaching them when they get in here, so once you guys get this copy down, please just kind of get your stuff and move to the outside of the classroom and start working on your homework there. Just that way when they get here, they can get started right away.